pathway is a journey. So it's a journey that we take parents on from the antenatal period right the way through to their child's second birthday. The pathways are very similar around the county. So you have the same components, same pegs in the sand, but each locality might have a different kind of twist on it. They might have different focuses throughout that first year. But essentially in the first year of the pathway, every parent is going to have the baby beginnings part of it, which is the targeted antenatal part. They're going to have access to infant massage, which is around bonding and attachment and those kind of positive strokes. They're going to have access to Tiny Talkers, which is around speech development, language development. They're going to have access to 5 to Thrive, which is the kind of 5 building blocks to emotional attachment for parents and their children. And then there's Great Expectations, and that focuses on parents' understanding of their children's behaviour. So what they've got to look forward to in the next year of their child's life. At the moment we have 42 pathways running in Leicestershire with about 1,200 parents. Pathways are focused on parents who need additional support. So you can come onto a pathway if you've got poor experience of parenting yourself, if you've got mental health issues, or you're likely or possible or at risk of having mental health difficulties with your baby. It can be for parents who've had poor experiences with social care, had a child previously removed. It can be for parents who've got learning needs of whatever varying levels. We have a lot of teenage and young parents on our programmes, a lot of elderly parents who've maybe got anxiety. I say elderly, me, 40s. But it's not a universal programme. It's not for everybody. It's about looking at parents and thinking who are the people who are going to benefit from this programme, because it is very intensive. It is additional to what other services like midwifery are offering. It's not a private antenatal class, and we really work hard to engage people who maybe haven't had good experiences at school. The sessions are fun and interactive, informative but not kind of preachy. We try to really include people, make them lively, fun sessions that people can engage with no matter what their experiences at school, how old they are. So we try to bring the groups together. And although the groups are quite different, you would be very surprised at how cohesive and how united and how formed the groups are by the end of the first year. They are a little family who've gone through a journey together. Baby Beginnings is the first peg in the sand, and that is around a targeted antenatal programme for parents-to-be. So it's preparing those parents for being a parent, for the labour, for what they're going to go through in terms of the first few weeks of their baby's life, but also how they're going to care and look after that baby when they get it home.
They're fun, as in we like to have a giggle with the girls. There's no taboo subjects, so the girls usually feel comfortable to ask the strangest things, which is great. That's what we want. We want them to feel comfortable to ask anything, and they do, whether it be on messages afterwards or during the session. The sessions are so relaxed that they feel comfortable enough to ask the questions that maybe they wouldn't ask others. Very welcoming. We always have the kettle on. We always ask them to invite somebody to come along with them so they feel comfortable, and the sessions are always very light-hearted.
I'm 28 weeks. It's getting real now. I feel scared to be, because I am the youngest child and I know nothing.
Parents definitely come in with barriers. They are very uptight, they're scared, and the teachers are trained to sort of try and allay all their fears, be non-judgmental, try and be friendly and upbeat and light-hearted about this exciting event, as opposed to being very serious, which a lot of other professionals can be.
I didn't think it'd be this relaxed, and I didn't think it'd... it's just like being with friends. It's so open, and I like it like that.
I can't wait to give birth to him and go to the groups. When I was pregnant with Robbie, not going to that group after it's finished, I actually learnt something, but I was sitting there thinking I'm not even going to learn anything because I've already had a baby. There's no point in me even coming to this. But then I'm sitting there and I'm actually learning something, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe I do need to go to these groups. So I'm just going to go to all of them.
Initially, we were sent to the antenatal classes through social services. There was previous connections prior to our relationship, which social then got involved with, and told us, in their eyes, it would be beneficial for us to go along.
When they came, they were really nervous. You could tell that they felt a little bit uncomfortable, but I just wanted to do everything that I could to get them engaged.
Started off with the antenatal classes, got chucked in to the antenatal classes. We hadn't got a clue what we were going into. I was absolutely got loads of anxiety on me. I couldn't get over how relaxed I was because I suffer with the anxiety the most, really bad. But I was so relaxed I couldn't even talk. Sort of like when you've been really surprised by something, you gobsmacked. It was sort of one of them moments. But then a couple of days later, I said to you, do you want to go again? I said, yeah, I want to go. I want to keep going.
We saw them kind of gradually increase in confidence. I mean, when they first came, I think the first few weeks we were talking about pregnancy and early pregnancy and healthy eating during pregnancy and that kind of thing, but maybe a bit more reserved then. And then later on during the course, when we were kind of doing more of the practical things like baby care, and I remember them getting on the floor and they were bathing and changing the dollies, and they really got into it, and you could see their confidence and their anxieties lessen and their confidence grow week by week.
Infant massage is the second peg in the sand of the pathway, and it's really good for parents to learn all about safe strokes, bonding, attachment, strokes that they can do with their baby at home. So it's about safe contact and physical contact, bonding and attachment.
So I will be showing them on a doll all the strokes that they have to do. And the idea is to show them the strokes and for them to have a go if they can during the session, but then to take it home and practice it in the home with their babies. So it's a skill they're learning really, and it's about them also learning the cues from their babies, and understanding their babies is actually part of the baby massage course.
It sort of makes it all very relaxing, and everything's introduced and you know exactly what to do, and you feel quite confident about handling your child and everything as well. So
I love the baby massage. That's I love doing that. So yeah, something that helped me to bond with Finley. It was nice to have a little one-to-one time, and then it helped me with Heidi, so she massaged Finley as well. I know I massaged her, so she didn't feel left out. So we have this whole little family thing.
We do baby massage with Oliver every night before bed, and he sleeps right through now. Before I didn't really bother doing it as a routine. We just did it sort of as and when. But I've started to do it because he enjoys his feet and his legs being massaged. So we do it before bed every night, and he sleeps right through. I feel like we've bonded a lot more because he enjoys it and it's me that's doing it, so it's kind of a bit more bonding for us. I feel that we're a lot closer.
So obviously we're all touch learn trained, so we know, how to physically do the massage that doesn't hurt the baby and increases things like blood flow around and stimulation and all those development things. And we're talking about that as we do the massage, so parents understand the benefits of massage to baby, but also to themselves, because it does reduce their heartbeats, it reduces anxiety, and babies then can relax. And mum can relax as well, because she can see that baby's happy, enjoying it, and so that's that relationship, definitely.
Tiny Talkers is a communication and language group that we offer to parents once the babies are about sort of 6 to 9 months. A lot of times parents start to worry about their children's speech language development when they reach about 2.5 and they're not speaking, and they don't understand the concept of what needs to be done prior to that to encourage them on. In Tiny Talkers, we are looking at things like brain development and how the brain develops when we're spoken to and all the nerves come in. But I think the important bit is the introduction of things that you can do to encourage your baby's communication and language. We do need to talk to them, not over them. We need to have eye-to-eye contact. We need to make sure that we're reading, we're singing. The repetition of song, that is so important, because when we're singing to our baby, if we're repeating it over and over again, we're helping to encourage their first words. When there's certain words in the song, things like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, accentuating the star so that they know that that word and this word becomes prominent. But it's all fun, relaxed. The room's set out as it is. We get to chat, but when we're chatting, we're encouraging that chat with the babies. So often, we spend so much time talking over our babies, or in this day and age as well, they do spend time watching TV, they're on tablets, they're doing things which in short spaces of time are fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but they're not getting the interaction. It's about the interaction. And in Tiny Talkers, there is a set programme. But we need to take from that the fact that the interaction, the eye contact, the response, stop, listen. Everybody has a voice. Give your baby time for a voice.
The thing on the Tiny Talkers that was wait 10 seconds, that was really helpful.
Yeah, I had no idea.
No, and I've used that a lot with both of them because you don't realise that you're saying something and it takes them a while to process it. So rather than just like keep repeating and getting annoyed, you're like, okay, I'll say it, I'll wait, and then I'll say it again, and like a broken record type thing. And that's really helped with me being relaxed when talking to them.
So we're trying to encourage all of that through, in the group we model the way we'll speak to the babies, and parents see that. They'll see how their baby's responding to me when I'm talking to the baby and I've got my sing-songy voice on and they think I sound silly, but they see the reactions I get. So before you know it, you see these parents and they're singing away and they're looking at them. So many of them turn their babies round. When you begin group, a lot of them have their babies facing forward to watch what's going on, which is natural. In Tiny Talkers, we spend so much more time saying, have your baby looking at you. You know, let them see how your lips moving, let them see your facial expressions. That's missed for a lot of them.
I can't read. So I can't sit there and read a book, because even a kid book, I can't sit there and read it because I can't read half the words. So I just sit and make things up as I go along. Just make it up. Make animal noises, because he likes that zoo one. That's the book Robbie likes, so we read that one. And he just sits there and he like makes the noises of the animals. When he sees the animals, he'll make the noise of the animals.
We are trying to promote the fact that communication is only a very small part of language. It's the body language, it's all of the other things that we do. You can be speaking softly to your child, but they can feel your agitation, so it's about managing all of that as well. So there's so much. It is a set programme, but hopefully they don't feel like it's a set programme, because we bring it in so naturally and it's within the conversations we have. And at the end of it, we do have so many parents picking up on reading, they're singing more, and they feel happy in the fact that we're saying, we don't care what you read, you know, as long as it's appropriate, read it. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, if you're sitting reading a magazine, read it out to your baby, change your tones of voice, sing the best pop song, you know, but as long as you're doing it. So that is all really what we try and bring in above the actual planned programme that we have for Tiny Talkers.
For an example, we always did different, based around different topics. So one session was on reading and literacy and how you can, you know, get your children into books a bit more. And Alyssa's never really been a fan of a story all the way through. And there was different types of books out, and that I went then home and sort of tried to get a similar sort of thing. It's just the short words. So she will sit before bed, and Joy advised us to find, you know, a time where it's quiet and she's relaxed and read a story. And I remember saying to my mum, so please, she sat and let me read a story from, you know, start to finish. So in that aspect, you learn a lot of how you can sort of cater to your child's needs at that point. Oh, she wants stories every night now, and she knows, she recognises things. She remembers when you turn the page, she will make certain statements on every page. It won't be the words that you're saying, but she'll highlight what's happening. And now that is part of our routine. So we go to bed, whether it's early or late, and she will want a story. She knows that when we're in bed, that's her story time.
5 to Thrive is about helping parents to understand the 5 key ingredients for healthy brain development in babies. We focus on 5 key activities: respond, cuddle, relax, play, and talk, described as the building blocks for a healthy brain. The course aims to show parents how important these everyday activities are and how much of an impact they have on children growing up to be happy, calm, safe, and resilient.
You always have to play with them. If you don't play with them, then the minds won't fully develop. When you're bouncing a baby and rocking it, that's a form of stimulation. That ain't just to settle them. It makes all the brain's dots connect up, and yeah, just stuff like that really, which is really useful to know.
Those building blocks are the 5 blocks of the 5 to Thrive. So the bottom block is respond. So that's the foundation block, which responding to baby's cue, or responding with baby, helps to build up a really strong relationship. And responding to baby's cues help them to feel like they matter, that they're safe.
Yeah, and cuddle is actually dealing with touch and how important that is, which is why we always put infant massage into our pathways, because the baby's skin's quite sensitive, and it's just a really good way of actually developing that bond with babies. And relax, we talk about how parents can start to relax about interacting with their babies, and actually when their baby's heartbeat starts to drop because they're being cuddled and held, their heartbeat will start to drop, and how that actually influences how the baby's there. And it's this two-way conversation really that they're not even aware of happening inside their body. We try and get over that. Play with a baby, particularly when they're very young, is not about heaping lots of toys on them. It's about the interaction that they have with the parent, and that's how important that is. Even if it's just chatting or singing or dancing with their baby, that is play. It's all about the interaction.
And we always say the most important toy your baby can have
is their parent.
Is your parent.
We were taught to say not long sentences and certain words and things like that, which really helped. And I noticed her speech came on a lot more, like saying mum and dad and things like that. So that really helped her. Just in general, when we did the whole of it, Ellie's confidence was better with other people and just me.
Great Expectations is all about looking ahead, helping parents to prepare for the next year of their child's life and what to expect. How they can promote good behaviour and survive tantrums, how they can increase their child's self-esteem and self-confidence, and how they can build a loving and positive relationship with their child.
And we talked about the baby's brain development and the young children's brain development, and the fact that between about 8 and 20 months old, children are very impulsive. They can't control their emotions. They can't manage their feelings. That is perfectly normal. And it's not until they're perhaps heading towards 3-year-olds and beyond that they get the language skills and the rationale to be able to reason, and that can often take up until about 5 years old.
So on Great Expectations, we just had a little chat about what is normal behaviour for children and why they're doing it. So that helped a bit, because I started to realise it's not always my fault when things happen.
So Lindsay needed a little bit of help with behaviour regarding her first child, and I know she attended the Great Expectations course, which Jazz ran.
And she got quite a lot of advice around tantrums. You know, that was the first group that she actually brought Heidi along with her to the pathway, and Heidi obviously was showing that she was having some tantrums in the group.
She used to bang her head, lie on the floor, scream. You couldn't get her out of it. She'd do it for like hours. Ian, I found it quite embarrassing. I didn't go to places. I didn't want to be judged, and sometimes people wouldn't come to ours as well to play because they knew that if it got too much, she'd have a tantrum. So.
And actually, I think that really helped Lindsay, because myself and Caroline, who's the other group leader, we sat with her and we kind of talked her through the process of saying, okay, she's having a tantrum. She's safe, you can see she's safe, let's just let her calm herself down, and then we can move forward with that. So it was, I think, really helpful, the fact that actually it happened whilst we were all there, and we could all sit and we could all talk through it together, and actually she got a lot of support from us and from the other parents too.
And Finley's quite different. He holds his breath and goes blue, and again people would be going like, oh, he's going blue, he's going blue, he's going blue, and they would help me by saying it's okay, it's not going to collapse, you know, just if you have to blow in his face, but it's just his way of having a tantrum. So it made it a lot easier, and now I feel a lot calmer when they do things like that.
We had a play date with my friend, and he'd started to share more, and I'd noticed that from here. He'd struggled a little bit. He didn't understand why he had to give something to somebody else, like, 'cause it's, most of the time it's just me and him and his dad. So and we'd gone there, and he actually went up and I didn't ask him, or the child didn't even ask, but he went up and shared anyway. And I think that was a big, I think he'd learnt that from being here and being with all the other children. So that was quite nice to see. I was really, really proud of that, yes.
I've learnt with to get into a routine, because when I came to one of the pathways, we all had to say, what your routine was, dinner, bath, bed. But I never used to do that. I used to give her a dinner quite late and straight to bed after a bottle. So now what I do is give her a dinner, give her a bath, then bed. And she's been going to bed earlier, because that was the main problems I had with her.
In the course, we look at difficult times in the day, such as bedtimes and dinner times, and provide tips and advice on how to cope with difficulties that may arise. It's all about reminding parents that they're doing a really good job and that their child's behaviour, however difficult and challenging it may feel, is absolutely normal.
Yeah, it's useful to know what is going to happen like in the year ahead, so you know what sort of behaviours are normal, and then you don't worry when they just creep up on you.
Parents will see quite a lot of difference from year 1 to year 2 because it's quite structured year 1. We know those 5 pegs in the sand. We've got a pretty good idea about what most parents need. It doesn't change. All parents are going to need to know about immunisations. All parents are going to have weaning issues. All parents are going to face that dreaded kind of sleep issue. So we know about the things that affect pretty much the majority of parents in that first year, and that's why it's very tailored. There's the 5 pegs in the sand. We know what we're doing. It's structured. The second year of the pathway is much more dependent on parents' individual needs and the individual needs of their child. So their child may have emerging speech and language difficulties. We're going to meet that need individually. It's much more tailor-made. So we're not going to get people coming for the whole of the second year in a weekly group. It doesn't need to be like that because every child's going to have a different need. Every parent's going to have a different need. So there's no point offering stuff around routines because the majority of parents will have got those set in stone by the second year, but some won't. So we meet the needs for the one that don't, and we do something different for the other parents.
How would my life be different if I wasn't on the pathway?
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic for first-time mums. It teaches you everything you need to know. You get to meet other parents and that, whether it's first-time mums or whether they've had 2 or 3 kids. Plus, you get great support from them and the staff.
We get to meet new people.
An experience, really. You get to
talk about problems. You can ask all of the mums and dads.
Yeah, you get insights on how other people cope with different situations because everybody's got their own techniques. And
so what would it have been like if we hadn't have done the pathway?
I'd be a state. I would be an absolute state. I probably wouldn't have left my house at all. And I actually enjoy this. I actually want to do this instead of just sitting in my home all the time.
Yeah. You know you'll get there, especially when they were
You're
little.
forced to
you'll get there. You have a cup of tea, and it will be all right.
Relax. And yeah, it's been wonderful.
And it just motivates you for the rest of the week as well. So it keeps you upbeat. And I think if I hadn't have had that, I think things would have been a lot different.
You've always got that help, and it's always the same person, and she's always at the same level to listen and to care and to understand and to want to be there. But a lot of people just do the job. But for somebody that actually is passionate about it and you know that they're there to help you, I think is a really big thing.
Another example of a young parent is Katie, who we spoke to earlier. She, again, felt very judged, and mainly because of being a young parent, thinking that people wouldn't think she'd manage, that she wouldn't be a good mum, and that was something she carried around with her quite a lot, and that I think had actually stopped her coming to groups. We tried quite a lot to encourage her to different groups. I would visit her at home quite a lot. She used to be in temporary accommodation. We then helped support her getting into her own property with her partner.
Well, I had my partner, but he would go out and do his own thing, so I'd be at home on my own with my son. Door locked, curtains shut, windows shut, telly on, that's it. I would even ignore the door if someone knocked on the door, I'd ignore it. Like, I'd walk to the shop and go to town and things like that, but I wasn't that bad because I didn't have to talk to anyone. But leaving to go to a group, that was different because I knew I'd have to be in the same room as loads of people, and I didn't know if I didn't know them or anything. I didn't know if they would like me, so it's a bit scary at first.
And I think you could almost see the moment click once she'd got into groups, what it was that she'd missed.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love going to them. Robbie loves going to them. They're just like fun, and they're just, I don't know, they're just brilliant. I just don't know how to explain it. They're just good.
She realised it took her a long time to get there, and she's still got challenges as she goes to groups now, and she does still feel, I think, judged, even though she'll say that she doesn't. But she now wants the best for her new baby Daniel, so is willing to put herself in uncomfortable positions, I think, to come to the groups, because you can see the benefits that they've given both to her and to Robbie since being on the pathway.
She never gave up asking me to come to the groups. So I just come to them because she weren't going to leave me to be at home down and depressed and sad, and wasn't fair on Robbie either, so I just went to them. And I actually enjoy it.
I had a bit of a problem with social services when Amy was a bit younger, and they were there supporting me and made it so I didn't have to have someone come into the group with me. So, but they helped me get through that, and after that, helped me make sure everything was okay, that we're both doing okay, and if I needed anyone to talk to, I had their number, so whenever I needed to call them, I could.
And I think I'm just a better parent as well, I think.
Like last time, so I haven't been as ill this time, and I'm sure a lot of it is because I've had a lot more support. Last time I was very isolated. I spent a lot of time on my own at home, a lot of time upset, which has affected my older child with her behaviour. You can tell the difference between them. Finley's much, I know they're different children anyway, but Finley is much more outgoing. He's not as clingy, and he doesn't show a lot of the anxiety behaviours that my older daughter does, and I'm sure a lot of that is because I've had a lot more support. I've had something to get out for.
In terms of socialising and meeting new people, going new places, like he's not shy, he doesn't mind meeting new people, he doesn't mind going to different places that he's not been to before. And I think if we hadn't have come here, I don't think he'd have got the same stimulation and enrichment that he gets here. I think that would have been hard to get from another, it would have been harder for me to try and do that without coming here.
Pathway is around doing something different now so that we don't have the same problems that we have in the future with the next generation. That is it in its most basic form. We're giving parents the skills to stop the cycles of poor parenting happening, so that we're stopping it right in its tracks and saying, actually, you can do something different with your life and your child. You can have a different relationship with them. They can have a different relationship with school.
Katie, sometimes when she's talking about some of the things that she's done at the Children's Centre and about Robbie, will actually get quite emotional because she's so desperate for the best for Robbie. Her own background and her childhood wasn't particularly great, so she's desperate that Robbie has the best outcomes, really. So you will sometimes have a conversation and she will get a bit tearful about it, but you can see how passionate she feels about Robbie and wants the best for him.
So it's not just about education and school and preschool and all those things. Of course, that's important. And for some parents, that's absolutely what they get out of the pathway. But it's also about improving the parent and the child's mental health and well-being. We know that there's loads of problems at the moment with children going into school already with mental health problems. And that's because that's in their environment at home. And that's not in any way to blame parents, but we can do something about that. And the pathway's got a massive part to play in parents having a different experience of being a parent.
Well, everything we've done in the groups is what has made me to be who I am with him now. Like giving him different foods and like just letting him play with things because he can. Because I know he can. Because he's done it at the groups. So he can do it at home.
The situation now, we are no longer with social services. They dropped the case completely. Throughout the whole of it, there was contacting Lauren, see how we was doing in the groups with the two-year pathway. Lauren was giving feedback on how we was doing with Caleb. And then eventually social was really happy with how we were as parents, how Caleb's safety was. And now it's our choice if we want to go to the pathway, and it's something that we instantly agreed it's something that we're going to follow through to the end.
I think we'll have a good future.